Flight 752 mistakenly entered restricted airspace shortly after Iran had fired missiles at US forces. The captain faces a critical decision: return to the airport or continue climbing to safety. With fuel running low and time slipping away, every second becomes crucial. The crew must navigate this high-stakes situation, balancing the risk of further escalation with the urgent need to avoid potential threats.
What's that alarm? Do you see anything on the instruments?
No, everything looks normal. Wait, there's something incoming.
Brace for impact.
Returning to the airport could expose them to danger, but climbing to safety might also lead them into even more perilous territory. Communication with air traffic control was limited, adding to the stress and uncertainty. The passengers, unaware of the full extent of the danger, felt the tension and anxiety. Every maneuver and decision made by the pilots was critical, as they aimed to ensure the safety of everyone on board. The situation underscored the importance of quick thinking, calmness under pressure, and the ability to adapt to rapidly changing circumstances. This is the story of Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752. 4 hours earlier, Tehran Airport, Iran, 8th of January 2020. A Boeing 737-800 is being prepared for a passenger service to Kyiv, the capital and most populous city of Ukraine. The aircraft, operating as Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752, made its first flight on 21st June 2016 and is 3 years and 7 months old. The plane is well maintained, with the airline saying it had been inspected just 2 days prior. The Boeing 737-800, registration URPSR, landed on time at 00:57 local time at Tehran. The return leg back to Kiev is due to depart at 05:15 local time. Meanwhile, as Flight 752 prepares for the flight, at around 02:15, numerous ballistic missiles are fired from Iran towards US bases in Iraq. The Iranian military launched retaliatory ballistic missile strikes toward US military air bases in response to the assassination of Major General Qasem Soleimani by the US. Soleimani was commander of the Quds Force, one of 5 branches of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. He was considered the second most powerful person in Iran. The US previously threatened Iran and is now expected to retaliate for the Iranian attack. Iran is currently on the highest state of defensive alert and is totally prepared for a full-fledged war. As a result, this military operation changes the alertness level of Iran's air defense. Meanwhile, from 01:16 to 01:38, the Boeing 737 is refueled with 9,510 kilos of fuel, and at 04:35, the flight crew boards the aircraft. After checking the aircraft and cabin, boarding is announced 10 minutes later, and passengers start to board the plane. At about the same time, the military sector informs the civil sector of the country's airspace control that only flights already cleared for flight operations are allowed to start up. This would ensure the correct identification of civil flights by the defense network and avoid targeting them by mistake. In response to the Iranian missile attack, the US Federal Aviation Administration immediately bans all American civil aircraft from flying over Iran. Although FAA notices are not binding on non-US airlines, many airlines take them into consideration when making safety decisions. In fact, several airlines, including Singapore Airlines, KLM, Air France, Air India and Qantas, begin to reroute their flights. Also, other airlines, such as Lufthansa, Emirates, Fly Dubai, and Turkish Airlines, cancel some flights to airports in Iran and Iraq. Doors on Flight 752 are closed at about 05:55. The aircraft leaves its parking position shortly thereafter, with 167 passengers and 9 crew members on board. Of the passengers, 146 are from Iran, 10 are from Afghanistan, 5 are from Canada, 4 are from Sweden, and 2 are from Ukraine. After contacting the Area Control Center, the ATC unit requests clearance for the Ukrainian flight at 05:52. The Area Control Center forwards the request for Flight 752 to the Air Defense Coordination Center, which subsequently issues the clearance accordingly. The aircraft then taxis to runway 29R and commences the takeoff roll at 06:11, an hour behind schedule. After takeoff, the flight contacts Mehrabad radar and is cleared to climb to 26,000 ft and turn right after reaching 6,000 ft, heading directly to the Parrot reporting point. As the aircraft climbs after takeoff, it appears on the air defense system. However, a wrong initialization procedure of the system's north alignment induces a 107-degree error in the system. Thus, the direction of objects and targets detected by this system are being observed with an increase of 107 degrees by the operator. Such a functional failure initiates a hazard chain, which of course can be controlled, providing other planned measures are implemented. At 06:13:56, the Air Defense Unit operator detects a target at his 250-degree azimuth, flying on a 52-degree course. The target is, in fact, the Boeing 737 flight departing from Tehran Airport, detected by the system as a target approaching Tehran from approximately the southwest. The Boeing 737 is now flying towards the defense system from a 143-degree azimuth. The aircraft is flying a 309-degree course. 1 minute later, the operator notifies the specifications of the detected target to the coordination center over the communication network. The recorded information indicates that the mentioned defense system's notification is not communicated successfully. Another link in the chain of events is formed at this point. Meanwhile, the system operator begins analyzing the observable information and categorizes the detected target as a threat. The wrong identification is another link in the chain of events. Without receiving any response from the coordination center, the Air Defense Unit operator fires a missile at the threatening target he has detected. Under the applicable procedures, if the defense system operator cannot establish communication with the center and does not receive the fire command, they are not authorized to fire. The measure had been planned as another error prevention layer, which is not implemented either. The fourth link leading to the firing of the missile is not formed. The missile radio fuse is activated at 06:14, with Flight 752 at 8,100 feet at a position about 20 km west-northwest of the airport. After the first missile radio fuse is activated, the Air Defense Unit radar locks on the target, and the defense system keeps detecting and tracking it. By observing the continuity of trajectory of the detected target, a second missile is fired at the aircraft by the operator of the defense system at 06:14, 12 seconds after the first one.
What's that alarm? Do you see anything on the instruments?
No, everything looks normal. Wait, there's something incoming.
Brace for impact.
Moments later, the first of two short-range missiles hit the aircraft, which knocks out its transponder. An analysis of the cockpit voice recorder indicates that for at least 19 seconds after the first missile strike, the pilots continue to attempt to fly the aircraft. There is no indication of injury or adverse health effects during this time.
We've been hit again. Mayday, mayday.
Losing control, we're going down.
When the second missile hits the plane 23 seconds later, however, Flight 752 veers right and can be seen on fire. Meanwhile, the defense system shows a message indicating the strike has failed, with the aircraft clearing from the radar lock-on after some time. As the aircraft turns to the right, the fire intensifies. Altitude is lost, and the aircraft eventually crashes into a playground 15 kilometers north of the airport. It disintegrates completely, and wreckage is strewn along a 300-meter-long path. Immediately after the crash, Iran released a statement that the aircraft burst into flames after a fire started in one of its engines, causing the pilot to lose control and crash into the ground. The airline opined that pilot error was impossible to be cited as the cause of the crash, as the pilot has exclusively been trained for the Tehran flights for years, noting that Tehran Airport was not a simple airport. 2 days later, Iran admitted they had shot down the airplane, having erroneously identified it as a hostile target. According to a statement, when the airplane seemed to head toward a sensitive military center, controllers mistook it for a hostile target and shot it down. Iran's civil aviation organization disputed this timeline, arguing that the airplane was on the correct course all the time and there was no proven flight deviation. According to the final report released by investigators, the crash was caused by the air defense launching 2 surface-to-air missiles at the aircraft. The detonation of the first missile warhead in proximity of the aircraft caused damage to the aircraft systems. The intensification of damage eventually led the aircraft to crash into the ground and explode instantly. The mitigating measures and defense layers in risk management proved to be ineffective due to the occurrence of an unanticipated error in threat identifications. This ultimately failed to protect the flight safety against the threats caused by the alertness of defense forces. In today's world, how can we make sure this kind of accident doesn't happen again? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you want more detailed videos on aviation, remember to subscribe.